The CEO of General Motors, Mary Barra, is saying that GM is going to magically overtake, beat, and become king of electric cars in America, defeat Tesla in the process, keeps on saying it over and over. And on the other hand, you've got two other CEOs of two of the biggest car conglomerates in the world, Ford and Volkswagen, saying very different things. Ford CEO Jim Farley recently thanked Tesla and Elon Musk for the way he has helped create the electric car movement. Hello, my friends. Welcome to the Electric Viking. Fantastic to see you here today. I want to say a big shout out to all of you for subscribing to the channel. Thank you for your support. It means everything to me. It is honestly something I think about every day. I'm so thankful to you for coming and tuning into the channel and making this something worthwhile for me and for you. I also want to say a big thank you to those of you who have joined me on Patreon and contributed, even if it's a very small amount or if it's a bigger amount. Some of you have contributed bigger amounts. I appreciate that. I appreciate any amount whatsoever. I'll put a link in the description to my Patreon account. And if you can support the channel, it is huge, means a lot. Also, to those of you who have become members of the channel, members do get some videos 24 hours in advance. That's one of the perks. But thank you to all of you for just being here and subscribing to the channel and watching the videos. So Ford's CEO Jim Farley has recently stepped up his game, and I really respect it when CEOs of other companies can give credit to their competitors. And I don't see this as a negative. In fact, I see this as a sign of true leadership. This is what real leaders do. Real leaders don't tear other people down. They don't feel the need to do so. They bring others up, and in the process, they bring themselves up. Now, the way Jim Farley has been speaking lately is very different to many of Farley's as well as his team's words and retweets related to Tesla in the past. More recently, Farley had a meeting with Ford employees during which he talked at length about the competition, Tesla, of course, and the realities ahead. Now, this news is coming from Inside EVs. I'll put a link in the description below. If this sounds familiar, then you'd be right. I made a video very recently about Volkswagen CEO Herbert Diess, who may be fired from Volkswagen for being honest with his employees, doing exactly the same thing as Jim Farley. Now, like I said, there's a chance he might lose his job over it. I think Herbert Diess has been doing everything he can to drag Volkswagen into the electric future, a future that he, above pretty much all others in the automotive industry outside of Tesla, recognize is coming much faster than the press, who have no idea what they're talking about because they say all kinds of nonsense like 30% of cars in 2030 will be electric. I mean, that is just, if you believe that, I've got a bridge to sell you. I mean, seriously. Herbert Diess is a visionary. And if he gets fired from Volkswagen, then my goodness, Tesla would hire him in a second, in a heartbeat. When it comes to the future of the auto industry, and especially related to the potential future big three automakers, Ford, Tesla, and Volkswagen, according to Inside EVs, do you agree? Are Ford, Tesla, and Volkswagen the future big three? Maybe, maybe not. Personally, I would love for that to happen. I believe that an American car manufacturer succeeding is extremely important, and I hope that happens, but I think it's more likely the big three will be BYD, Tesla, and Volkswagen. And I do think one of the big automakers in America will survive and thrive. Which one that is yet, I don't know. Who do you think it will be? Let me know in the comment section below. Will it be Ford, General Motors, or someone else? Rivian. Now, the Detroit Free Press got its hands on a video of Farley's recent employee meeting. The CEO reportedly talked about the EV market, showed charts and graphs, and compared Ford to Tesla. He also pointed out what Tesla is actually doing right now to be so successful. Isn't it amazing how much the auto industry has changed their tune on Tesla? It wasn't long ago that they were saying Tesla was terrible and hopeless and they couldn't manufacture anything. They were useless. Totally changed in the space of about 12 months. The publication said that Farley also referenced Volkswagen and Rivian. Farley told some 20,000 global employees it's time to take Tesla seriously. He made no jokes and he didn't talk trash about any other companies. Kudos to him. He said, if Ford was $1 trillion company, our stock would be worth about $250 a share. Think about the value creation of Tesla right now. And they have resources, smart people. The Model 3 is now the best-selling vehicle in Europe. Not electric, flat out the best-selling. It was the best-selling vehicle in the UK. Most months, it's the best-selling vehicle in California. Not just electric, but overall. If we're going to succeed, we can't ignore this competition anymore. Look at Tesla. Why are they doing what they're doing? And what can we learn from them? First, they have a direct model. There's no one in between. Exactly. They make it so easy. 3 or 4 clicks configuring the vehicle with not a lot of complexity to delivering it to the customer. Simple, non-negotiated pricing, a large reservation system, as well as remote service. Second, Tesla maximizes use of electrons in the vehicle. No one does it better than they do. Their customers pay less for a better battery. Third, the product itself is highly differentiated from the rest of the ICE field, and complexity is tiny compared to OEMs. You can see here Jim Farley has picked out many of the things that Tesla do extremely well, and also pointed out the fact that Tesla is extremely successful. I've got to say, Jim Farley is sounding more and more like the right person to be leading Ford to success. I did make a video though, very recently within the last couple of days, about Ford's future plans for the F-150 electric pickup truck, and they're extremely worrying to me because, well, if you haven't already seen the video, you'll see why in the video, why they are worrying to me. I'll put a link in the description below to that video. You should check that one out. Farley worked to convince his employees to change their thinking going forward, exactly in the same way Herbert Diess is trying to do at Volkswagen. He said, while Ford is making progress, it has a ton of work ahead. Now, he's obviously speaking in a very similar way, like I said, to Herbert Diess. And now power brokers within Volkswagen are trying to get Herbert Diess fired. My question is, will they do the same to Jim Farley? Possible. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Could they try and push out Farley, considering he's trying to point out Tesla's successes, point out the reasons why they succeed? I mean, think about it. He's basically saying here, while they're succeeding because they don't have dealers. He's saying, yeah, dealers are part of our problem. In fact, this is not the first time he said dealers are part of our problem. It's sort of common knowledge within Ford that the reason they're losing some of their sales is because of their dealers. So what will Ford do here? Will they plan on cutting out the dealers? If they do plan on cutting out the dealers, which seems to be their only viable choice going forward, at least cutting out some of that process, or having at least a direct sales model, and then what will the dealers do? This would cause huge division within the company. Now, Farley also noted that Rivian is already delivering its electric pickup truck, as well as a van for Amazon. Tesla just sold 100,000 Model 3 sedans to Hertz. He added that Volkswagen is the second largest producer of EVs behind Tesla. This is all a really big deal. Now, while it's true that Volkswagen is the second largest producer of EVs behind Tesla, technically, well, there are some real big up-and-coming players in China who are getting pretty close to Volkswagen's numbers. I mean, have a look at just a single model, the Wuling Hongwan Mini EV vehicle. Last month in October sold 47,000 vehicles in the month. That was more EVs than Volkswagen sold in that month. That's one model. BYD in China alone sold 43,000 electric cars and 85,000 plug-in electric cars and electric cars put together. I mean, these are the kind of competitors that Ford, Volkswagen, Tesla, and everyone will be contending with over the next few years. And that is some tough competition. Now, Ford employee Ryan McManus, who attended the meeting, got permission from Ford to talk about it with the media. And he said, it was almost like taking apart a close win after a football game. You feel good about the win. You come into the locker room, the coach says, great win. And here are the places you didn't come through, you need to work on. And this is where we'll practice next week. The tone of the meeting was not negative, it was very positive. We need to try and get down to less complexity, fewer screens, simplicity is hard. Challenges, especially startups like Tesla, have the advantage of a clean sheet. I agree with him. People have been saying this for a long time. Insiders have been saying it for a long time. Having a clean sheet is not the disadvantage that others claim. People claim, oh, Tesla has a disadvantage. They don't have the factories. They don't have this. They don't have that. They don't. Actually, Ford here is saying that is an advantage. And I've been saying this for a long time. Simplicity is an advantage. Now, having plug-in hybrids, petrol cars, and electric cars and trying to build all of those using old factories that are made to build petrol cars only, that's not necessarily a good situation to be in. On top of that, companies like Ford and General Motors have a lot of debt. So you can see now Ford does have to work hard to compete against Tesla. Now, Inside EVs has said that they think Ford and Volkswagen are wise to tout Tesla. Getting Tesla in the news related to your auto company can increase media coverage. Very, very true. Look at this. I'm reporting on it. Inside EVs is reporting it. Others have reported on it. The mainstream news media is reporting on it. So if Ford and Volkswagen can do it like Tesla, fans of the popular US electric automaker may begin to support them. Yeah, maybe. If they actually start building primarily EVs, I think that would be true. And who better to appease and appeal to than Tesla fans who have, well, many of them have enormously long wait times for Tesla deliveries, and they may consider another brand. I've been saying this as well, as long as it's not a brand who hates their beloved Tesla and Elon. I don't think this is true. Now, websites like Inside EVs and electric.co, they're constantly going on about Tesla brand fans being these crazy people who love Elon and love Tesla and they're just diehards. It's just nonsense, because you can't really think that of the million Tesla vehicles, the nearly million that they've sold this year, or will have sold by the end of the year, that those guys are all hardcore, dedicated, Tesla-loving fanatics, because they're not. There's way more Toyota fans than there are Tesla, way more. It's just the number of Toyota brand fans that are out there. You'd be shocked that the number of people, the reason they buy them, right? The reason Toyota has 10 million EV sales per year is because they're not great vehicles. I'm sorry, they're just not. Toyota has no compelling product. There's not a single model of car that Toyota sell right now that's compelling. And what I mean by that is they don't sell a single model of vehicle that is actually the best in its class. Like, look at the reviews. I read all the reviews. I read all the comparison reviews. The chances that the number of times that Toyota actually win a review comparison is almost zero. They almost never win because they don't actually sell anything compelling. But it's the perception through their marketing to their loyal brand fans that they produce products that don't break, that don't wear out. Well, they do. I've had Toyotas before that have had plenty of problems, had gasket problems, all kinds of oil problems, diesel problems, we have particulate filter problems. There was Supreme Court cases for Toyota going to court over several different reasons, having huge problems here in Australia, which they've had in other countries as well. The truth is, Toyota's marketing has convinced everyone that they make products that don't break. It's not necessarily true. So there's a huge number of Toyota fans. I think we need to move away from this idea that every fan of Tesla is some hardcore Elon-loving freak. They're not. They're just normal people who have found a good product, who have found a good company, and think it's good. There's nothing wrong with that. We don't need to criticize that. So Inside EVs, electric.co, I think you're alienating part of your audience by claiming that they're Tesla-loving freaks. They're not. They're just normal people. I know there's some people on this channel who think that Tesla fans are hardcore and they're extreme. They're not. Guys, you can see me reporting here, right? I am a fan of Tesla, but I'm also a fan of BYD. I'm also a fan of Ford. I'm also a fan of Volkswagen. I'm a fan of Herbert Diess. I'm a fan of Elon. You don't have to be, it's not black and white. You don't have to be a fan of one company in order to hate another company. It doesn't necessarily work that way. So let's get back to Volkswagen and Ford. Will Diess be ousted? Will Jim Farley be ousted? Will Ford and Volkswagen employees lose jobs? Yes, they will. There's no doubt about it. Unless they actually significantly increase market share. In order to not lose jobs, they probably need to double their market share, because jobs have to be lost because automation's coming in. That's the reality. If you want to compete with Tesla, you have no choice but to improve automation. So yes, some jobs will be lost unless they about double their market share. And then I think it's realistic to say they could have about the same number of jobs they have right now. Can they double market share? Absolutely. They can take sales away from from Toyota, from Honda, from Mitsubishi, from Nissan, from countries all over the world. They can take literally as many sales as they want, as long as they're willing to take the hit now. They're basically like Ford, GM, and other car companies. They're basically like drug addicts. And the drug is sales right now. But literally, the problem is that drug is actually starting to wear off. It's not going to work forever. So in order for them to actually not lose jobs, they need to come clean. Get off the drug of ICE vehicles, move to electric. And it's going to hurt. It's going to be like going through detox. The pain of having less sales for the short term in order to have more sales in the long term. It's going to be like the pain of going through detox for a 30-day detox. And I haven't done this before, but I've heard about it. It's tough. It's difficult. And that's what they need to do. But do their employees want to do this? Hell no. They want to keep their jobs. It's a very difficult situation that Ford and Volkswagen are in. So if folks decide to, or are forced to, leave Ford or Volkswagen, they may have an opportunity to take a job up. Where? Well, companies like Tesla. And remember, it's not just Tesla that will be happy to take employees. There has been enormous poaching of enormous poaching of the best staff from many Japanese companies from China. And I made a video about that. That was reported on in Nikkei by the Japanese Times. And it's become a common theme now that electric car companies in China are poaching staff from Japanese automotive companies, the best ones. They find the best ones and they say, we'll give you this, this, and this. And the staff go, wow, that sounds amazing. I'll come and work for you. The same thing could potentially happen to employees lost from companies like Volkswagen and Ford. The other players, well, obviously you've got Rivian and Lucid who might also want to take some of these staff as well. Or depending on which OEM has the most success in the shortest time, Volkswagen and its employees could flock to Ford or vice versa. While jobs may need to be eliminated, EVs are not going away. And where there's a job lost, there's probably a need for a job to be filled elsewhere if you're good at what you do. So my message to the employees is be good at what you do. Work more on yourself than you do on your job. Develop your skills outside of the workplace. Now, if Deese is let go, perhaps he can move on to work side by side with Elon at Tesla or Farley at Ford. But which would you pick? Let's be honest. Now, Deese obviously does have somewhat of a passion for Tesla, and he's got a very good relationship with Elon Musk. And he'd probably be excited to join the team, especially if he's pushed out by the Germans. It wouldn't be unlike former CEO Mark Field's move, who's now interim CEO at Hertz. He just helped make the Tesla-Hertz deal happen, which is likely helping to fight a fire under Farley and Ford. It's interesting that happened though, isn't it? He gets essentially fired from Ford, goes over to Hertz, and then makes a deal with Tesla. I mean, maybe there is a little bit there, right? A little bit of sour grapes, maybe a little bit. Or maybe he's just like, hey, we need Tesla's vehicles. They're the best. Who knows? So, my question to you, will either Ford or Volkswagen ever consider teaming up with Tesla? They could share platforms, share battery packs, share something, share technology. I think it makes sense. What do you think? Now, if you're not aware of this, the reality right now is Tesla could buy Ford and Volkswagen, both of them together, if they wanted to. But would they want to? Yeah. Now, I am so excited, so pleased and happy to see that the CEOs of two of the biggest companies, the companies that I want to succeed, Volkswagen, and to be honest, even more in particular Ford. If I had to choose between the two, sorry Volkswagen fans, but I'd choose Ford. If I had to choose. But hopefully both of them succeed because now their CEOs really are coming up to the plate and they're recognizing their competition. They've finally become aware. Well, Deese has been aware for some time, but Farley has become aware of exactly what he's dealing with, and he's doing his best to educate his employees as to the real challenges that lie ahead. It's exciting to see the CEOs of two of the biggest legacy automakers taking electrification so seriously. Thanks for watching the channel. Thanks for supporting, liking, and subscribing. I appreciate it. And I hope you have an awesome day. I'll see you again on the next one. Bye-bye.